Hi everybody, welcome. New camera today, new angle. I felt like a GoPro would suit better what we're doing here. Just want to make sure that the stream is going for everybody on YouTube. Yes, YouTube's telling me it works, so it should work. Otherwise, first thing I want to say, for those of you who will listen only at the beginning of the podcast, because most of you only listen at the beginning, I will be out for a couple of weeks. I'm going out on vacation. I'm the luckiest man on earth. As a sound engineer, I can take some days off during the summer. Thank you, 2021. I hope I will be too busy to take vacation next year, but now I just enjoy it. So I will be out for 2 weeks, and I'll be back. I said it on Facebook, July 12, I think, something like that. So I'm missing 2 weeks. Count 2 Mondays from now on, and I'll be missing those. I hope I will have the time to do some video before I go on vacation. Cross our finger here. I don't know. Just want to see if there's something wrong with YouTube, because it doesn't load. Usually it loads, but okay, no. Is it just me? Is it my page? Yeah, it's just my page. So we're live, for real. Hi everybody. Welcome to, again, like I said, last stream before vacation. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my stuff, make sure that everything is good. I want to take my phone, put it on silent mode, and getting ready. Those live streams are all about having a good time together. Keep calm and carry on. For those of you who saw my yesterday's video, was not welcome that well, I must say. All caught up in the wire, like the usual, you know. There you go. I won't cut my leg into it if I do it this. Today, I brought back the really good, not this. I brought back the Beyerdynamic MC840. This lovely thing here. I feel like it's just a better mic than my shotguns, my Ramza mic. This thing it was a flagship of Bayer mic for a while, so I believe it's a good choice for sure. It's not gonna fit everything and everybody. At that point, it's not about having a good or bad microphone. It's just choosing the good one for you, because they're all good. But seriously, I want you guys to tell me, what do you think of the GoPro? This is my new investment. Instead of buying a lens, because I got this lens, this Sony lens that I used to use with a Sony camera. I sold one of my Sony and was hoping to get a better one with a fisheye. So I said, well, the cheapest, best option for a fisheye is a GoPro. So I look at my Facebook ads and found that GoPro for really cheap yesterday. And it's basically for cheaper than a lens, like a good fisheye lens. I got the GoPro, and I think it will give you a better angle of what I do here. Once my bed is back in my bedroom, once the renovation are done there, you will have a good look at the background. The console also, because this is something that I thought was not flattering about the angle that I was using before. I didn't want you to see me. I want you to see the console. Of course, me as a talking head. This is how those videos are called, talking head. Me as a talking head, I want you to see me, but I want the main focus to be the console. So with the wide angle camera, I can show you guys a console, and it always kept the top angle one. So when we're talking wing, we can go there. We'll see. We'll see what happened. All those lives are about the console, or I try to focus as much as I can on the console, but sometimes it can just go in different direction. Like when yesterday I shoot a video about the wing not being discontinued. I know a lot of people didn't get that right. Maybe my my title was too clickbaity, because I'll be honest here, I tried to shoot for one of those clickbait title, and I think it worked. People are watching the video. Some people were freaked out. I hope I didn't freak you out. But just to do a quick recap on that, the console is not discontinued. It will go on. Relax. Okay. Just want to check something out. Oh, there's an EQ on my listening. Just gonna check out that. Just want to make sure that there's no EQ on yours. Let me check something. Okay, well, I'll bring you along with me. I've built actually mix 2 for me to listen to the background music, because I cannot only listen to the full program of what I send to you guys over on the internet into the console, because I would feed back the music, and that's like, routing. It's all about the routing. So I've built myself a listen mix with master level 2, but I had this on, and I thought it was sounding a little bit weird, but that makes sense, because I probably left that on from my crossover example. There we go. And my Matrix one is still up. Oh, can I? Actually, I'm not listening to this. Yeah, there we go. Matrix 2. Or main 2, and my microphone is not in there. What's going on? There we go. I have my mic now. I got my mic now, and it sounds way better. Okay. Sorry, guys. I should do an episode on this. The feedback loop that you create when you send a performer a signal back into his monitor or whatever. Most performer will adapt to the EQ or the range and the dynamic range that they hear. So depending on what you send back to a musician, it will help you or work against you. So I think I should do an episode on that. Okay, we're about a couple minutes in. Just want to make sure that, okay, yeah, everything is working. You guys are just quiet in the chat today. Hey, David. Welcome. Can you explain how to record to Logic when you want to use the effect on the wing? Okay. I already have a video on this, but I think I can do another crash course if you just let me get my setup in a good position so I can be comfortable with the screen and you guys can see it. I'm going to explain you what we're doing. To do that, I'm going to use my virtual sound check. So I'm going to try my knob here to cut down the music. That MIDI key is not working, so I'll do it manually. Hold on. Okay, no background music. I just want to make sure that my mix will be going to... Oh, well, I don't need to have a listen then. Hold on. Main one. The mix of rock and roll. I can come here, load my virtual sound check, press play. and have a band going. Okay, it's been a long time since I've looked at mix. Hold on, I'm just going to reposition the mic. Microphone is not in your way, I hope. For the camera, no. And I want you to hear me talking into it. So, sorry for the handling noise, guys. No, that's too much. Now I can see the screen. There we go. Are we professional here? We are not. No, just kidding. So, David got a really good question: how to set up your mix, or to send your stuff out to. How to send your stuff out into. Hold on, man. I just feel that this thing is way too loud in my headphone. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay over the music? I put that on the list, Armin. Okay. Now that I'm comfortable, I'll do my best to try to explain you how you could work Logic with basically the effect of the console. The overall idea, I'm just going to turn that down for a minute. The overall idea here is to, hold on. I can even move you guys. There we go. Okay, so the overall idea is you want to record what you set on the channel itself onto your Logic session. So to do that, because on the wing you cannot patch the output like you patch your preamp to the USB key. So if I'm not clear, is when you go to output USB, right now I have in USB out. Just try to follow along here because the routing on this console again is complicated to a certain extent. If you don't follow along, a lot of same stuff come up left and right, so please pay attention to that and it will work. So right now in 1 and 2 I send out my console left right, which is the mix that you're hearing now. This is a live stuff that I did, a live band that I've tracked, a loop. I asked the guy to play on the click track and they record me like a 5-minute piece of music that I'm just looping. And I did loop it into Logic. I recorded for half an hour and that's it. But I did record dry these track, but if I wanted to, I could record all the stuff that I have going on the console. Like now on my kick drum, I got a gate, I have an EQ, I have a compressor. I could add more effect into the insert spot if I wanted to. And I could send that to Logic over the user signal setup. There is only 24 user signals set up in the console, so that way you can send only 24 track or 24 group to that. But you can basically get all the processing from the channel and send them over into Logic. To do that, sorry it's been a long time, we'll go to source, user signal, and I'm gonna press here, user signal. You can see on the top here, I can select a couple things. First, you need to assign something to user signal. User signal, now I'm just setting up in order of my sound of my channel count. So first one is kick. I can come here and I can select on the right what I want to send, and that's user signal channel 1. So I want channel kick as my first one. Second one here will be my snare, and so on. I just patch all the channel that I want to send out to my user signal. Then I'm going to go to output and into USB. This is where you would usually patch. If you want to record dry, this is where you would select to send your AES-50 preamp coming in, or basically all the options that you have here, all the AES-50, the bus, the matrices, and the user signal. I can unlock my patch. I'm not going to touch my main out because it will cut out the signal that I send to you guys. But let's say that I want to patch. Let's say I want my master. I want to record my main left out during a show, but I also want to send other stuff to my recording or my live broadcast or my Reaper session, whatever, Logic, Reaper. It's all the same thing from the point of view of the console. So what I'm going to do is, starting from 3 and up, could be from 1 if you want to, I'm just going to assign my user signal. Going to press the +1 here. It will help me just go faster to assign the preamp. Okay, this one. Just make sure kick, snare, hat, tom, floor. And I just send out everything. Just to be clear, user signal are mono sources. So my overhead, as you can see here, are 2 outputs. So 24 mono sources is not 24 channel per se. It could be less or more that. Because now if I count everything that I have in stereo, I only have 10 channel on the console. Yeah, you can see me. I got 10 channel on the console, but it's 14 input because I have stereo overhead, stereo guitar, and stereo keyboard. So those, because they are stereo, are a left and a right, but I'm running them on a single channel. That way I'm processing those source as a single stereo channel. I know it could be confusing, but from there, as soon as I patch the input into the USB out in Logic, I just grab those USB, of course, plug in the back of the console from the USB. I set my interface, something that you need to know. Interface is set to 48, so I can send out 48 channel. Actually, because of the user signal, you can only record 24, so 32 or 48 is good. If you have less, 16 is gonna work. And you can send USB out to, well, you can send your user signal to USB out. So grab them into Logic as input 1 through 24, or wherever you decide to patch them, because you could, if you have a small amount of source, you could record both dry and process it if you want to. That way I could, like right now I have only 14 sources, so I could easily just, starting as an example, it's totally out of nowhere. As an example, starting at 25, I could just record my AES-50 preamp, which are the same, or would be live the same sources, and just record them dry as a backup. So that way, if you EQ'd something on a console and you don't like it, you can just take, screw that, I'm just gonna grab the dry track and have that as a backup. That would also work. What else? Oh yeah, and in Logic, just grab your input from the USB wing 1 through whatever you have, and you will record everything that you assign on the channel will be set in stone, and that track, it will be recorded there. I hope that answers your question, David. If I'm not clear, let me know in the chat. I'll try to expand on something else. Good. Clear. Okay, Darman, you got a question? Just wanna... Oh, sorry, guys. Darmin, you got a question? I just want to try to wrap my head around it. Can you show the master out option for insert for effects later? Okay, well, I think we are later now, so I can try to show you that. Guys. There we go. No, it doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, there we go. This is fine, I guess. Just gonna do this. Here we go. Can you show the option for the output for insert or effects later? What do you really want to know? You want to know my... Is it you that talked to me about mastering chain? Sorry, I'm getting people confused at some point. Well, insert on the master. Honestly, the only thing that I'm using right now is the limiter. And I'm using it just so I can send a really good, strong signal to my live stream. I don't really use other effects. Honestly. I'm not... Well... Okay, life story here. I'm currently working on a video from a choir that did something special for 2021 because they cannot rehearse in person. So everybody worked on his part at home in video conference. And we set up a small recording studio, portable stuff. We went to a local room. It's more like a cabin that the city own, and they just give it to everything that the city sponsored. So the choir is working in collaboration with the city, and they wanted to do a video live from a studio, and we filmed some shot outside in a park because we could be 2 meters apart from... Oh yeah, I like the GoPro for that. We can set up a filming environment where everybody will be 2 meters apart or even more, and nobody will be in front of anybody. So when you sing loud, you cannot spit on anybody, and that is quote-unquote COVID safe. So we did that video in the studio, and I just received a mix because I'm not doing any sound on that. I'm doing only the visual. So I was a camera guy. I was editing all the video stuff. Only that. I think the guy who mixed that, which is a knowledgeable guy. He knows stuff, but he's in rush right now with the job, and he's doing that on the side on the weekend. And I think, sorry guys, the usual burp of the beginning of the stream. So yeah, the guy is just rushing it, and I think he's trying to over process everything. He just put on EQ on stuff, even if he doesn't need to, just because usually he's doing that. He's not... I with all due respect to the guy, I'm not gonna name him, but to all due respect to the guy, I think he just over EQing stuff just because. So that leads me back to say, don't over EQ or over process your recordings, even live. I never do mastering, or I don't do much on the master itself. Only when I have problem. I only try to fix problem on the master. If I want to make something good, I make it sound good on the track itself, on the channel. When it comes to mastering for studio-ish or live stream, the only thing that I do is basically what I got now. I got the Soul Bus compressor, and I send that into a limiter, and I don't abuse of those plugins. I just use a couple dB of compression with, even this is a bit high, so I'm gonna lift up the threshold for that, -6 dB, and I try to compress Even this is high. I'm going to turn down the volume a little bit for you guys. Nothing more than 3 dB on the limiter, because I just want the limiter to give me a little more headroom and stop the when you look visually at a waveform, I just want to try to clip the top of the waveform because I want to keep the core uncompressed because it sounds good. It should be mixed well, not bass drum too loud. And you don't want to fix your mix with the mastering. The mastering is just there to enhance your volume and make sure that everything is okay. If you have too much low end on your mix, don't put an EQ on the master and shut it down there. Fix it at the source. What is too bass heavy? The bass drum? Put some less low end on that. Yeah, I do, man. Yeah, Darmin, I do video editing too. Well, I got a YouTube channel, so apparently I've learned how to do video edit, and people start to call me to do that because they know me. It's funny how that thing started for me to do video editing. I did some live stream for a city nearby, a small city. Well, the same city where I did the choir. And they saw me do a live stream. So I'm a video guy. So I do video. Filming is video. So they start to refer me to some client of the city who rent the hall there. People just call me. So I don't have any gigs right now because until June 25, we're not really allowed to have anything happening here in Quebec. So as soon as June 25 will be over, I'll probably have too much real sound gig to do video edit for clients. But because I got nothing, I said, okay, you know what? It will be 3 day of filming in May for me. And it's better than staying at home doing nothing. So I send out an invoice or a quote, and they said yes. So yeah, I did it. The video is about to be finished. I'm just waiting for the audio mixes to be done. Like I said, as soon as I can get those mixed soon, or when I'll be back from vacation, that video will be done. And because I said something that I do not, well, I stand behind them, but I don't want to get anybody in trouble or say bad thing about people that I'm working with. I'm not gonna name everybody, and I will not talk about that video here ever again or show it ever again. So hard lockdown here in Malaysia. Oh, yeah. We're going good here with the vaccination, so things are getting better, and everything is going to plan. So by June 25, 75% of the population here will have its first shot of a vaccine for COVID, and the older citizen, 20% of them will have already had their second shot. I think we reached the bar today, but they still keep the date on June 25, just to keep people from partying too much, because here June 24 is our national holiday. This is usually the day of the year where everybody party like there's no tomorrow. So just to avoid too many people getting together on that day and getting drunk and not respecting the 2 meter and not respecting COVID laws, because it kind of goes against human nature not to touch or not being close to people. So, but we have to do it because it's common sense, but it goes against your human emotion. So just because they don't want drunk people to get too close and spread COVID, they want to wait after June 24. So June 25, it's a Friday. Good. So on Friday, I actually have a gig. You know what? I did a live stream on that where I built that show for the band is Turn It Up. So yeah, as soon as I as soon as I get more gigs, more live sound gig, I'm probably gonna ditch the video stuff, except for YouTube. I will try to, knock on wood, I will try my best to keep going at YouTube. I don't know, maybe my content will shift a bit because, like I said before, I don't know what to do with the wing. I love to do those live stream, but I don't know. I was curious. Why do you put anything on the mic to stop feedback squeal? This is. Please don't take any offense. This sounds to me like a beginner question because you never. Okay. Never put anything on the mic to stop feedback. Because your mic should not feedback to begin with. If you got feedback at low level, there is something going wrong before the mic. Your speaker or your monitor have a really weird frequency curve, so you want to EQ your speaker so it's flattening out. If any peak in frequencies in your monitor, you want to take it out with an EQ. Like, let's say in my room, I know 400. 400 is one of the frequencies that is really present in here because I'm not in a studio. I'm not in a professional studio per se. I just did my best with acoustic, with what I had as a budget and everything. So I got a couple panel. Those are real panel, acoustic panel, by the way. But this is what I have. Those are not. I didn't do any calculation when I put those. I said, let's put as many panel as possible on the wall to cut the reverb. And I still have a problem around 400. I'm aware of it, so I can just, mix with too much 400 in my speaker there. And that's it. So I just live with it, and I learned my box, basically. But when it comes to do live sound and feedback, if something is feeding back, is because the problem is somewhere else, and you fix the problem at the source. So if one of your monitor is too bright and the horn is too loud on it, just turn the high frequencies down on that box. With the EQ in the back of the box, with an EQ on the console, or if it's a bi-amp monitor, just turn down the higher frequencies amplifier. If you have amplifier on those speaker. If it's in your PA, because your singer is really close to the PA, like his microphone is right on the side of the PA, try to turn the PA to open up the angle of the PA just a little bit. That could help. Or cut that frequencies in the PA. If this is the problem with the PA, if all your microphone are feeding back at the same frequencies, it's probably in your PA the problem. But yeah, please don't try to fix one. Don't kill your microphone because of one frequency. This is what I would say. Okay, something just crossed my mind. I think you can refer to the expander that I did to help me cut down on the volume, the expander gate. This is just there to reduce the volume of unused microphone. When I'm not speaking right now, you can see here the gate is turning down the volume. This is dB reduction, like if I were to move down the fader by 20 dB. I'm just going to put a range of 60 here. 2-to-1 expander ratio. And I'm gonna turn the threshold until I'm not feeling it anymore. That means when I'm not speaking or I just breathe, the ambient noise is not loud enough to open the gate or the expander. But when I speak, I move enough air or energy to open up that gate, and it does its job. Now I said the attack should be the minimum, -10, or 0 if you can, 1. Hold 50 millisecond, I believe, is enough, and the release is how fast it will turn down the gain. $4,000 is like 4 seconds, so it will take 4 seconds for the gate to just bring the volume down. This is what I use on some microphones, especially on back vocal, to avoid background noise. But cutting feedback, no. There's something wrong with your EQ if this is it. Hold on. I was just wondering because some singer roamed the stage, so you would test that beforehand. Yeah, sound check. This is what sound check are for. And honestly, if you make your speaker sound good on stage in monitors, if you make everything sounds good, monitor NPA in the room, you should not have feedback because it will sound good in the room. You will take out all the resonant, all the resonant frequencies and all the peaks that will be out. Try that. Try to maybe not you, or maybe you can use a smart analyzer system, or you can do it with the wing. I know you got one, so I'm gonna try to explain it to you how to do it. Hold on. I'm gonna build channel 37 with an oscillator. Can you hear this? This is a pink noise. That really annoying sound is a pink noise, and if we look, I'm sorry for just gonna reset that. I'm really sorry for the unpleasant noise, but I need to speak over it to explain to you guys what's happening. If you take a pink noise and send it into your speaker, what we're looking at right now on the RTA of the console is a flat frequency curve of, hold on, is it in tool or setting that I can slow that down? And can I hold on? I didn't play a lot with the RTA. Okay, set it to average. You can see that the frequency curve on that is flat. If you send that signal into your PA, into your reference speaker or monitor, when you listen to it, you should hear all the frequencies pretty much at the same level. It's really hard to do that by ear. I kind of do it from time to time just to train my ear and try to hear if there is from the speaker, you know, a frequencies that pops out, kind of like this. You know, if you move around with a pink noise and you hear that it sounds like this is flat. This is what I'm talking about. if you hear something like that, oh, okay, I should cut 1.7K, or if there's a hole, if your speaker sounds like this, and you don't have enough mid-range in there, you want to fix that. You want to adjust your speaker, or adjust whatever component that you have in there. You want to turn down volume or EQ until it's flat, or it's as flat as it can. If you have a reference microphone, send pink noise into your system. Plug your reference microphone into a channel strip of the wing. Just go here on EQ, and you can see as I'm speaking, I'm making noise. I'm doing some harmonics and stuff like that. I don't have a lot of low end. I don't have a lot of mid range, and this is just to make it sound less less nasally. I don't like that. I think I really sound nasally. Like in the air, my voice is very nasally. Well, I feel it, so I just got that down to make me feel better about it. I just EQ for myself, basically. But that RTA that you see right there, if you send out a pink noise and analyze with a reference microphone, or just a really good condenser mic, will get you going. If you have a really good condenser mic, put it in front of your speaker. Don't turn it on into that speaker, but put it in there. Put the fader to 0 on a console, and just look at the RTA and EQ your speaker to have pretty much a flat curve. Once you do that, and don't go too extreme or don't go too precise, just use the parametric EQ and make it as flat as you can, and don't try to do those really slim cut. Just go average it overall, and you should be good. Everything should be pretty much balanced, and you should have a lot of volume out of that for feeding back. Good. Any other question? Anybody in the chat or anybody listening to this feels like asking any other question today? Thanks, interesting. I hope so. I hope I'm not boring you to death. I don't like boring people to death. Yeah, I saw your email. I'm just really busy today. I'm finishing up stuff for my, sorry guys. But yeah, I'm finishing up stuff for my 2 shows this week. My Wednesday and Friday show, because I was supposed to be today out on a gig, but it was moved to Friday due to weather. So if you guys have any more question, we'll go on to that. If not, I will cut it short because I need to clean the room behind me and build a wall and setting up that bed back in my room, because soon I will have a bedroom back. Hey, Herman, it's good to see you, man. You're late. No, well, actually, if you got something to turn me, if you got any gas to fill the machine, I can probably do something. Just feeding me back with something. Actually, Herman is the one who freaked out of my video of yesterday when I said, "Is the wing discontinued?" No, this is fake news. The wing is not discontinued. It's not going to go anywhere, at least not for a couple of years. And honestly, think about it for a second. Even if Behringer have launched the wing pretty much 2 years ago, even in the current circumstances, they still sell, and they will still sell X32 for years. How in the world would somebody say, oh, okay, the wing doesn't work as we intended, we're just going to stop doing it? No, It's there, it exists. Maybe they will produce less than they think they would have produced, but you never know. You never know. I'm gonna read the chat after. Give me a second, guy. I just want to explain something here. What I think really happened, and I was thinking about it after I done the video, because yesterday I woke up, I saw that this thing was catching on fire on Facebook, and I said, okay, I'm gonna put a stop to it. Didn't even took a sip of coffee, just jump in, turn the camera on, and said, I'm gonna address that right away. And 20 minutes later, or maybe an hour later, my video was out. And after that, I was thinking and realized that, okay, I think what happened here is somebody somewhere, a seller, probably from a store who sell wing and sell Behringer stuff, he probably cannot get his hand on a wing. And it's out of stock pretty much everywhere. So what the guy said is, oh, it's probably going to be discontinued, so don't wait for it, buy something else. That way, the guy didn't lose a customer. He probably sell him a PreSonus, a Halogenite, SQ, whatever, or an X32. So I think what we saw there is a salesman who didn't want to lose a sale and just grab on some money from a customer, because let's say that customer would find a used wing somewhere else, the store didn't get the money. I think this is what happened here. I think it's just a salesman who said, because I cannot put my hand on one, I'm just going to try to sell something else to people. That way I can just move inventory out. And maybe if you bought a lot of SQ, whatever, or PreSonus, and people want only the wing now, if there's a gap and you can offload your inventory, you can just get that out of the way. I think it's a strategy that a store owner could do. So I think this is what happened here. And he said to a customer that, oh, the wing's probably going to be discontinued, so don't wait. Just buy something else. Pretty sure this is what happened. So it's not going anywhere, as far as I know. I'm not in the deep secret of Music Tribe, but I know the guys are still working on software, so I don't see why they would do anything about it. Or I'm just going to say it this way. If Music Tribe were really to abandon the Wing project, they would not have people on staff working on software. They will just fix the bug, call it a day, do a last release, fix all the bug that you can, and only fix bugs, don't improve on it. But I know there is some improvement coming. I'm not going to tell you what. You have to stick around and do your firmware update to know. Okay, I'm like 25 comments behind in the chat. Let me catch with that. Hey, Chris. Everybody's late today. Hey, Chris. Okay, from Wing. I just want to use the Wing to control my lighting setup. Send me the command using the custom button. Okay, I got a good one for you. I just did it myself. What I did, I don't know if you can see it or not. Probably not. Let me do this. The knob that you can't see? Okay, so I just pressed view here on my console, and I'm gonna press view again here. That's popping up that window. This is where you would set your custom control tab on the console, everything that is right next to the master section and the DCAs, or, well, I'm using the center section as DCAs. This is where you can program knobs to to send MIDI information. So if you want to control your light console with MIDI, just select one of the option here in Hold on. Just select one of the option here in MIDI. I think even fader start is, nope, not at all. Where was I? Okay. Maybe fader start. You can, no, nothing. Please don't mind. Please forget what I just said. Don't listen to me. Okay. All the MIDI stuff that you have available is here. You can select the function that you want to use. So a toggle, a CC toggle, a CC push. You can send out note, and you can send out note push and program change. That means with the amount of button that you want to play with, you can press a button on your console the same way you would press a button on your light console. If you know what your light console is listening to, you can just program it here and have it out of your way. That way you could program your stuff on the light console, have like your 4 or 5 main scene that you want to control on the console here on the wing, and you just have your 4 knobs there that would turn on your first preset, second preset, 4 preset, and a blackout, as an example. Just make sure to send out the right information for your light console to understand, and you're good to go. I know those small American DJ console work with MIDI note, and there's in the manual there is the chart where everything is labeled out, so you can say, I know my blackout is note, I think it's like node channel 1 node 127. You can just program that, and as soon as you press that on your note toggle or push, it will just it will activate your blackout, because it's the same thing if you push a knob here physically on the interface or physically on your console, because the software, the computer inside your console, light console, doesn't know if you push the button physically on the interface on the PC board there, or the information is coming from MIDI. It doesn't make the difference, because all your computer know is something was pushed, and I want to do that action. This is it. So if you press a knob here, click MIDI, node channel 127, that corresponds to that sending out information to a chip on your light console, and it just tell it to do something the same way that you would press the same knob on the console. I hope I'm clear. I tried to. Darman, you debunked that before I was aware of the rumor. Yeah. Well, I felt that this could go out of hand really, really fast, and I didn't want like a lot of people just freaking out about it. So just get that out of the way. No, the wing is not going anywhere. Stick around, guys. Achille, you finally bought your console? Great. And don't worry about your spelling here. I'm so bad in English. Writing my verbs, buying, bought, whatever. I'm so bad writing that. Don't apologize. About how to send those MIDI commands to a different computer on the network. I think you have to use the MIDI stuff. I don't think the MIDI is over network. You need to have a MIDI interface. So you need the MIDI in the back to send that out to a MIDI interface. But this is a long stretch. I know a friend of mine, a light guy, he's using like MIDI stuff coming from the keyboard rig, triggering his stuff into his computer that is triggering the light software. But we're going out of the keyboard MIDI, but as soon as we go out MIDI, well, you need a computer at some point somewhere. I think the idea is to have, like, for your wing, plug your wing into a computer over MIDI, like into an interface, and then having a plugin that will convert that to network, and having the same network, MIDI network plugging on your other computer. They will create an address or something and they will talk to each other. But this is something that I never touched. I'm not that good about network, even if I'm trying to learn as I set up a NAS server last week. But actually, I got it running like now. Like from now on, I can edit my video and store my footage on my 35 terabyte NAS drive or NAS server. But this is like network and MIDI is two different things. MIDI was created pretty much before network. MIDI was made in the 90s and network came with computer. But if you want to have a lot of stuff talking to each other over MIDI and network, my suggestion for you to set up something easy will be take... actually, I don't know if the USB send out MIDI. Probably somebody in the chat can tell me that. Can the wing USB send out MIDI to a DAW? If it can, just plug that MIDI into a computer, get the MIDI to network plug-in, run that on all of your machine, and they should all listen to the MIDI information that you send from the console. Should. I never done it. I'm just talking out of stuff that I think I know it worked. So, to be discovered. What else in the chat? Oh, Darman, you don't even have a console yet. I thought you did. I thought you had a console. Can I ask what the difference between the user bank and the other bank? If we're talking about physically on the console itself, what I got here on the left, well, the first four knobs here are my default channel. And user bank, well, actually, first one is 1 to 12. After that, we have 13, 24, 25, 36. 37, 40, and the aux in, so that's 37 to 48. I have physically on the console the masters, and then after that I have user. In user, you can put whatever you want. You can put channel in different orders. Let's say that you have a gap and you just want to regroup those channels together. There you can. So yeah, basically it's just a custom layout from there. And you can just, can I show it? Yeah, I got nothing now in user. You can see on the top here, I'm in user 1, user 2. Got my master bus, all my channel as soon as I switch. And my virtual sound check is done. Let's put that back up again. It's been a while since I've listened to that song. So we're going to have that as a background music. I'm gonna try to... Oh! My chat just reset. I hope I'm still live with you guys. Hold on. Something weird. I want to know if I'm the only one who got that happen. Maybe it's a bug with MIDI, but out of nowhere, my email. Well, okay, hold on. Let me try something again. I've pushed stop on my virtual sound check, and I'm going to push play again. I think when I'm doing that, my email application on my computer is opening. Because it happened a couple of times that out of nowhere my email app would just open. And hold on. Now I've quit the app. Hold on. I'm gonna wait a couple of seconds. That could be a really fun bug, because I'm only plugged out of USB into my computer, straight into my computer. And if I press play again and touch the DCA, I want to know if my mail application will open up. So far, nothing. Okay. Maybe this is totally unrelated. Okay, let me catch with the chat. What's up, guys? Does anyone know how the sales are on the wing? Nope. That kind of information is not usually public, so no information there. From Eshil, do you know if it's possible to use an X-Touch with two software at the same time, like X32 Edit and Main Stage? I would say probably not, because they're not using the same protocol. I used to own a X-Touch. When you're running it on network protocol, like for the X32, you're running it on network, I don't think it can talk to something else at the same time. Maybe if you program it over MIDI, you can assign a part of it to work with X32 and have some other knobs on the thing working with main stage. But honestly, that would be hard. It's not impossible, but that would be hard or confusing, because maybe you would trigger two things at the same time in the two different software. Let's say that you press on a knob. Let's say I'm muting something here on the mixer. Maybe that can trigger something else in main stage, or just closing the app in main stage, because that information, when you press that button in X32 Edit, it's mapped to mute a channel, but in main stage is something else, or it will mute your channel also in main stage, or it will do some weird stuff. You can trigger maybe a bass drum from a virtual instrument. I would say mix with an iPad. if you want to do something with the you said an X32, yeah, X32 Edit. If you want to control your console, get an iPad for that, because the application app of the X32 is amazing. I love it. I'm used to it. I'm not impartial at all here. I love that application. It's one of my favorite ones so far. Get an iPad for that, and main stage is really made to run with interface and MIDI, so I would say go for that. This is what I would personally do. And yes, an X32, yeah, rag. Yeah, okay, get an iPad. Hi, Michael. I don't remember seeing you around. Hi, Michael. What do you think of an option to change to the alternate input when I'm playing back from multi-track or USB? We have the option here in setup. In setup menu here. Hold on, I want to reread that just to make sure I got your question right. What do you think of an option to change to the alt input when you're playing back from multi-track and USB? Actually, I have a video on that where I show how to use the console as a tape playback, but when you listen back, you listen to everything with the EQ that you set, so that way when the band is playing, they track with an EQ and compressor, let's say, in their here, and you want to play back the same track, the same performance, but if you play it dry, it won't sound the same, or it would not react the same. So if you flip from main to alternate for playback, you will hear the processing that you apply on the channel itself. But yeah, if you go into setup, main alt, it just switched the input, like you can not hear anymore when I'm switching. And you can have that on a physical knob in the controls, in the custom control. You can have one knob to just switch really fast between both option. I would honestly, I will use that for a virtual sound check, and maybe if I were to do a band and I needed to have a quick swap of microphone, let's say for a backup, or you know, okay, Wednesday I'm going out with a singer, and he's got two main position. He's got one lead in the front, and he's got a piano position. So to cut down on bleeding, what I could do is have the same, because it's basically the same microphone. So I would compromise an EQ, put one EQ on both microphone, but it's the same brand. They have pretty much the same use and everything, so they sound kind of similar. I would just put main alternate input, and when you switch from lead to piano position, I would just alternate input that channel. That way, everything stay the same, but I also kill the other mic. So his lead vocal mic in the front will not pick up only overheads. And his piano position, when he's not there, nobody in their in-ear will hear that microphone just going like nothing happened here, only pick up some bleeding. So this is something that I would use the alternate for. Many option here. Many option. What's happening in the chat? Light are on a different PC, far from the wing. So okay, well, yeah, try to get network, Herman. Can the fader also be set to send MIDI? Interesting question. Just gonna grab a fader. I know they send OSC because I had a talk at some point. Actually, I think I will need to redo this. Patrick Gilmayo, if you're watching this video, hit me up on Facebook. I think we need to redo an interview together where we talk about everything and the possibility of the wing, because for those of you who knows, Patrick Gilmayo is the developer of the OSC program for the wing, and he's probably the one who also included the MIDI stuff. He's working his hats off to make life more easier for us. Also, go check him out. He got some really cool product software for Reaper and the wing and the X32 and Reaper and other OSC MIDI auto control stuff. But okay, this is not where I want to go. I remember, I think I played around with that. I think there is a way to send the fader into, hold on. I know one time I dig really far into getting the MIDI stuff, but I didn't do it since, so I'm kind of lost right now. But I think I can figure out a way to do it. I'm pretty sure the fader have an option to get MIDI. I just need to figure out how. Is it in setting? No. If I hold menu? Okay. No, this is for custom bus, but oh no, there it is. If I'm using 25. Okay. It's a MIDI custom control. Yeah. The effect one? No, this is not where I want to go. This is my bus, my DCA. I don't remember exactly, to be honest, but it's somewhere around here. I'm just gonna initialize that layer. I don't want to say something stupid, so okay. I'm gonna go custom layer. I'm just gonna drag and drop. Oh yeah, okay, you guys can see my screen. Just gonna drag and drop here, and I think that MIDI CC stuff here, it has something to do with that. So I would need to dig deeper on that, Herman. But yeah, maybe you could have extra fader and just load like a user section in the middle of the console and do like having like 4 fader. You could probably do that. Out of my head right now, I didn't play a lot with that. So that needs to be figured out, but probably. That's my answer. Sorry, I cannot. Congratulations, you're the first one to ask me something that I absolutely cannot explain on the console. It's because I don't use the console for that. I use the console to mix and get great sound. And as much as I can see a use for MIDI, having fader to react to MIDI or sending out MIDI, this is not my use scenario. So this is why I feel kind of lost about it right now. Use for fader in the background console. Yeah, you can basically do that. Yeah, having your channel on the right to do this. From Chris, I think I have read somewhere that the Wing can send MIDI via USB. Okay, so Wing can probably connect USB over our console. Oh, Darman, poor you. A CR1604 from Mackie. I did so many shows on these consoles back in the day in my small corporate event, you know, where I would just send out to do corporate meeting, you know, the classic 1 podium, 2 handheld microphone for questions in the room, 2 speaker, and my rack was basically 1604, a 31 bin EQ. If I was lucky, I would get the 4 rack Clark compressor, because it was 4 compressor into 1 U. So they would build that into the small console rack, because the shop that I was working for at the time, the corporate company, we had 2 kits. One with a Midas, a Venice rack mount on top of the rack, and under that, the rack was about 1 meter tall, 3 feet. And I had a 1604 or a Venice on top. Under that, we had an EQ. With the Midas one, we had the Clark and the Clark 4-channel compressor. With the Mackie, it was a DBX, no compressor, but we had a wireless in there, 1 or 4 or 8 wireless in there, 58 handheld or feedback machine, aka lavalier mic. And we had that rack already built. It was like a quick, there is a press conference somewhere. They were just putting that rack out, 2 speaker on top of it, shipping me in a minivan, go do that with, basically the Mackie's, the real old Mackie's speaker, the gray one, 2 speaker stand, couple cable, and call it a gig. I was setting that up usually in the morning, do the conference from like 9 to until I fall asleep on the console. Was waking up at noon at the end of the conference, wrapping up everything and go back home. This is how I started. This is what I used to do in my first years of being a sound engineer. To do it automatically, you mean? Hold on. Oh, to do it automatically could... Hold on. I don't know. Okay. Maybe Michael. I need to investigate that, so we need to take a look here. I got a show running, and this is why I have a show running, because we can play around with it and do all kind of weird stuff. I don't know if... When I'm putting this into auto, will that automatically switch if I change the source? We're trying out stuff as we go. I don't remember. Great Corn Low. Would be great if the alt button get added to MixStation. The app is still developing, but it's an excellent app for the... yeah, I actually never tried out MixStation. I've always used the Behringer or the official Behringer one, and I would need to get the Wing one to work really soon. Honestly, I don't own an iPad at the moment because at the beginning of the pandemic, I was looking to switch my iPad because my iPad was just gone. I mean, not gone, but the battery was not lasting more than 6 hours, and it got me pretty close sometimes to not being able to finish a show. Like doing sound check, didn't plug the iPad between sound check and the show, starting the show, and after 2 hours you're looking at the battery and you're reaching out 5%. You got 4 songs to go and you're like, I hope I hope it's gonna hold for a couple more songs, and it's not gonna leave me with nothing to control the show, or worst case ever. And knocking on some wood, I hope it will never happen to me, but I hope never to lose the control of a show with something like a huge delay on a vocal. So, something bad enough that it sounds like crap, because it will be fine if I lose control over a show and there's still sound and the vocal is dry and the mix is not as I want it to, but as long as it's still listenable, you can still listen to it, it's fine. But let's say the singer starts to talk in between song and there's some huge delay going on. That is job costing stuff that could happen, and I don't want that to ever happen to me. So knock on wood. So yeah, my iPad is not good enough. I would need to get a new iPad. The new one are looking crazy good. The new iPad Pros from Apple. But yeah. The Pro version is excellent. You can build your own layout enough, and you can stack button. I'll press. Okay, but not yet on the Wing. I think MixStation has an Android app too. Yes. I never been an Android fan. No. Nothing against them. It's just back in the day. I'm gonna get back to this, by the way. But back in the day, when I was starting to do like sound stuff, the best thing that happened to me is in 2009, I bought a Mac Mini, and back then, we're talking about 12 years ago. Back then, it was the best option to do sound with. It was the best computer. The processing was good. It was one of the first quad-core that you could get from Intel, I believe. Could be wrong, but I believe it was that. I switched from cheap AMD PCs that were, two of them catch on fire, basically, or get part destroy, and it was not going good. So I was starting to work at that time. I was 2 years into working. I had a bit of money left over from buying my car. It cost me less than I thought, so I bought a Mac Mini, bought a 55 inches LCD TV to use as a screen, and put that in my living room. I don't watch TV. I was basically head deep into sound stuff back then. So, Mac Mini, TV, keyboard, a sound interface, could have been a FirePod, could have been M1, how's it called? What are those small two? A fast track from M Audio Fast Track, the 2-channel version. I used to run that with a Soundcraft Ghost. I don't know if any of you know anything about these consoles. Soundcraft Ghost were like 48-channel analog mixing board with MIDI fader that I never got to work. It was probably broken and I didn't know. But I got that really cheap, for dirt cheap. I think it was like $400 back in the day, in 2009, because analog gear was simply rolling out. I got that, and I was getting all my tracks into the console and sending my master left right to the DAW with the M Audio. And this is how I start to mix and get into sound with computer. But since I stuck to the Apple environment back then, I just stuck there because I'm a big fan of the compatibility. And I didn't buy a PC until 2018. And for those of you who knows what a Hackintosh is, it's basically a PC tower that you trick the software. It's basically a PC tower that you install Mac OS on it. And you trick the software to install anyway because it thinks it's installing on the Mac. It's really hard for compatibility of parts and stuff like that, but for me it's working. It's my main computer. This is how I send my stream. I pretty much have the same computer since 2018, and I will pretty much I'm gonna stick with Mac OS. Sorry. For those of you who are not a fan, sorry. I like Mac OS, and I bought my software. This is why I stick with them mostly. And when I'm probably gonna switch to a 2019 Mac Pro if I can find a cheap used one in a couple years, and I'm gonna upgrade it to the max, having the 28 CPU and 28 core CPU, or I'm gonna build a Hackintosh with whatever I can find that will fake a 2019 Mac Pro. Or if the not the M1, but the M whatever CPU processor the Apple got is still as good as we got right now, probably gonna move on to an Apple CPU because those things are so good. Like especially like the new iPad, where you have the same processor inside the iPad as you get into the MacBook Pro. And those iPad are USB-C, for those of you who complain about the Lightning port. And it's basically a Thunderbolt 4. So it's PCI Express connecting to your computer. The connection with those iPad is so good. Basically, the iPad is so good right now. The processing inside of it is so good that even the OS who's running it now cannot run it to its limit. So iPads are good. Say whatever you want. The new iPads are good. Hold on, I need to get back to the chat. Okay. Both iOS and Android for Wing available. Okay, good. Yeah. As soon as I get an iPad, I'll check that out. My first DAW using PC Sound Blaster audio. Oh, and I think Cubase. Like actually, my first DAW was Cubase. When I bought my FirePod Pro, they were giving you a copy of LE4, Cubase LE4, and I've run that for a long time because I had a license. I was up to 16 input, I think. That was the limitation back then. And I don't even know if I can open up file for LE4, but I think I have an album somewhere that is unreleased. The kid never paid me. Well, quick story. Recorded some high school kid from... I was living like a block away from high school. Got in touch with the kids there and with the music teacher. We recorded an album together in the school as a scholar project. I went there with my portable stuff, so my FirePod, my computer, my laptop at the time. An old Windows laptop that was really bad. And we recorded an album there, mixed that. It was fine. And the kids started approaching me, say, "Hey, we got also a band outside of school, and we would like to record our stuff." So we got into the studio session with 5 guys in the band. At the end of the session, the drummer finished the album but left. The bass player never recorded this track and left. The guitar player and singer tried to hold the project like as much as he could, but he had 2 girls in the band. One of his or her boyfriend was the other guitar player, whatever. That couple left, like keyboard player and brass playing, they left. And it basically was everybody left except the singer. So he said, okay, now it's going to be my band. So I'm just going to scrap everything vocal-wise, lyric-wise that we recorded. And I'm going to turn everything into Christian rock song and I'll get back to you. And never heard from that project again. The kid did call me for some live show until the last one where he didn't pay me. And this is how it ended. This is basically how everything has ended in that relationship. But I still have the file. Those were not that bad of a song. Anyway, I'm degrading a lot here. But just to say that I wish I can open those files again and see how bad those tracks were recorded for 2009. Because I remember we did record some acoustic guitar with my Rode NTV that I had back at then, one of the tube mic. And it was probably okay, but probably way over processed. Like I said at the beginning of that stream, over processing is the mistake that everybody do. Chris, I have a Soundcraft series too for the channel at home. Yeah, Soundcraft series 2s are a good board. Nobody wants to use them anymore. Live, I mean. In the studio, it's a great interface if you want to track a lot of musicians to have absolutely zero latency when tracking, when monitoring. Those boards are great. Actually, Solo Tech, for those of you who know, is a really big sound company, and it's like 10 minutes away from my house. They were just giving away. They were selling the XL4 and the XL3s that they still have running. And I thought about getting an XL4, but it would not fit in my room. I'm missing 2 inches to get the board with the case. So it would fit in with like 1 inch on each side without the case. But as much as I wanted to have something like that in my life, I would never pull the trigger on one because first, it's so heavy. I would need to build a custom desk for it. I would need to buy so many converter to get the sound in and out of that thing. And in the house that I am right now, I cannot build a booth next door to have a band recording there. So if I were to have a 48 channel analog mixing board in my room and track people just behind me, where usually my drum is set, That would not make any sense to me. So as much as I wanted to have those console, and you can get those for really cheap, I think I could. The XL4 from Solotech, which is the holy grail of analog console from the live world, you could get those for like $4,000, $5,000. But you have to carry it. It as much as I can fit pretty much anything in my smart card, there was no way that would fit in. It's so heavy that I don't see how I could bring it here downstairs, and I don't even know if it would fit through the door. Like, cause I don't have any door in my basement anymore, so I don't even know if I could get it in. I would need to pull out like a full window out of a socket and try to slide it in, and it's not worth it. Just gonna put it out that way. Hey, Bubba Z. Listen to my stream while driving to work. Dude, don't do that. We're just talking about sound here, nothing to go crazy about. Okay, well, if that's your kick, man, cool. I like to have people listen to these live streams. Thank you very much. Chris, I don't really use it anymore, just in this case, like, yeah. One of my bosses, the company that I work for, it's called OV Tech in Montreal. The boss told me he's got an XL, no, not an XL4. He used to have a Verona from Midas, the 56 channel, and he still have a Allen NE MH4. It's the monitor console from Allen NE. And it's been so many years since that board got fired up that I don't know how everything is. We don't even know if it will fire up again, but because the condenser inside could have dried because it's 20 years old, and we don't know the condition of it. So I think at some point he will fire it up. If it's not firing it up, or if it's just die, or half of the fader is not working, he want to basically fill it with epoxy and create a desk, like having his desk made out of an MH4 from Allen & Neat, because it's a really big console. If you put it flat and fill it with with epoxy, it will look good. Put some LED in there. Make sure, like, try to have as much LED that you can lit up as possible, and just turn on the console and have it like covered in epoxy. This is what those consoles are good for nowadays, because look at the wing. It's so many channel, it's so many processing. There is no way to get the same amount of feature that I have with this console. It would take me a truck full of gear with an analog console to bring with me to have not even all the features that I got in here. All the rack space, all the processing, there's no way. So, are analog console bad? No. The answer is no, of course. But is it worth it? I mean, is it worth it to bring that along? Never again. Yeah, with the case, it's about 200 pounds. 100 kilos. No way. And 200 pound without the rack, with no compressor, no other EQ than the one that you have on the strip. It's crazy. It's crazy how computer have taken over the world, especially live sound. A couple of years ago, digital sound was really bad. Now, yeah. From Darman, I got Drizzle Yacht bass amp back in the UK. Turned out high pitch squeal. Give it to an electronic guy, and he fixed it and said it was dust and spiderweb that caused the issue. Yeah, probably. Yeah, because at some point dust will get conductive, and it will just create short circuit in there. But yeah, cleaning it up and maybe change the power supply capacitor After 20 years, they usually dried out and they're not good to use. So, and Chris, yeah, without the power supply, because listen to me, kid. When I'm talking about live sound, we used to carry around those big. No, not gonna go there. But we used to carry around a power supply for a console like that. Is like for you. Imagine basically two power amplifier. 4U of rack that you would bring and put under the console, and you needed 2 because power supply could fail. So you need at least 2 power supply for your console. So you need 2 space or 3 space for your power supply and another 3 space for your backup one. And that's something that you need to carry in extra of the console. You need to plug that with a 12-pin or Socapex or 19-pin connector, so you need to have that cable. Just that cable is like £10, and it worth so much money because you need 4 connector that cost $50 each. So plus the cable is $200, and the power supply is an extra $1,000 on the side of the console, and it's big, it's heavy, it takes place. You got cases everywhere. Man, I'm so happy to live in a world where everything is getting smaller and smaller. Actually, I don't know how many of you guys are living from live sound or used to live from live sound, but I was talking with a friend the other day, and when I started in 2007 doing professional gig, we used to have semi-truck full of gear. So, I don't know how big the trucks are in Europe for my European friend, but here in North America, we have 53-footers truck. Like, this is basically the trailer in the back, 53-footer. I think yours are a little smaller because the road there are not as big. But seeing a truck like that, when you were lucky, it was only a floor load. When you were on a big show, every standard case was stacked. And that was normal. Another day at the office, you know? And now, I don't remember the last time that I've emptied out a semi-truck. Big tours still use the tour with semi-truck, but I remember in 2009 hearing people saying that, the Madonna tour was like an 18 truck of gear, and now the last big show that I was at where we had truck was the last time that Metallica was in town, and it was 7 trailer of stuff. One of them was band gear. The other one was technical stuff, like they bring their own console, they bring their own mic, they bring their own part of the stage. And the 5 other van was merch. They just bring so much merch, and that's it. Everything was floor stacked, and touring artists get smaller because the money is not there anymore. People go less and less to shows. And the gear getting so much smaller. There's so much you can fit. I mean, if we're talking about Metallica, they don't bring fridge size amplifier anymore. They just bring Axifex now. So the full rig for each guy is like a 12U rack, and they have like a backup amp. They have their main guitar sound, backup guitar sound, tuner, wireless, and everything plug off of a single plug in the wall. Basically, maybe they run redundancy on that stuff, and a power conditioner because you want that to run at the same power all the time everywhere. But other than that, it's just a 12U per guys instead of just a 4. Imagine a guitar 412 cabinet. They were bringing a couple of those. It's crazy how gear have to get smaller and smaller. So yeah, wing all the way. Hey Ivan, what did I miss? A lot of me complaining about stuff. So basically, not another usual live stream. What's up, man? It's good to have you guys all around. Usually, well, since I started the stream an hour later, different people showed up. I missed a couple of the old guys like Rolf, who don't seem to be here today. Rob, who don't seem to be here today, but still, I'm really happy to have you guys all here. So yeah, Ivan, basically what you miss is me talking about analog gear and how not cool it was to carry around analog gear and analog board. Return for a small gig. Congratulations, man. It's good to have people back out there. Me, actually, I'm stuck at home because of the weather today. We were supposed to have a live gig as we speak. Actually, I should be mixing a band right now, but yeah, not happening because of the weather. There's a thunderstorm alert right now. So if the stream ever cut down, I'm sorry, guys. A thunderstorm is hitting the grid, and as much as I can have my my computer and stuff on a power supply, on a power regulator and a battery, I cannot have internet or my local internet supplier on a power conditioner. Valve amps weigh a ton, yeah. This is why I used to play guitar a lot. Right now, I'm currently just a musical instrument owner. I don't really play much. But yeah, as soon as I learned about the digital stuff, like the real good fractal audio and the Helix and stuff like that, I've switched. I don't own any guitar amp anymore. Actually, a lot of you are gonna laugh. If you hire a guitar player, I'm playing direct out with a Boss GT8. Straight into the PA, into my in-ears. I tweak the EQ until it sounds good, and I'm just go around with that. A single Boss GT8, no amp. This is all I'm running. So I'm bringing basically just a pedal board to a gig when I play. And it's been pretty much 2 years since I play. Well, it's been 3 years since I've played a show, and I don't have time to play music anymore, and I don't have any motivation because I cannot play with people. It's illegal here to meet up with people, especially people who are not in your really area. So if I have to travel to get with other people, it's a big no-no to me because of the law, but also a lot of people doing it. But I just feel it's stupid to disobey the law to play music. Just gonna wait after COVID, and I'm just trying to get this thing going as much as I can. Sorry, I don't want to go in the debate of COVID and what you should do about it. You do you. Ivan's still owning an analog gear, but it's in a warehouse, waiting for a better time to do some. Yeah. Are you still using analog gear for real on shows? Because honestly, like, you just missed me ranting 20 minutes about analog gear and the weight of it. It's heavy in the sense of it's a lot of heavy equipment that doesn't do much. Honestly, right now, if I'm doing a small corporate gig, I just go out with a 2-channel wireless unit, so a single U of wireless, and I'm bringing it's a touchscreen QSC that we got at the shop. It's an 8-channel mixer with a gate, an EQ, compressor, 31 band EQ, and the master out, and like 6 aux. So yeah, for a small corporate event, I just bring that. It's just fine. And it's small. It's a touchscreen. If I want to bring my iPad, it's directly Wi-Fi in the back. So just connect to it, walk in the room, and EQ my stuff. Driving to a 20-piece wedding band with the wing. Dude, you need to send me an emailed picture with that. It's great. It's great. I hope you're gonna have a good time. Well, speaking of time, guys, I just realized that I've been going at this for a long time, and sadly enough, I got stuff to do. I got basically a room to build. Not that I want to, but I have to. Yeah, I'm gonna call it out now. So, those of you who joined in last minute, you didn't miss much. On this note, thank you very much, guys, for being around. I appreciate that you show up for these live stream. Just a reminder, I will be away for 2 weeks, 2 Monday with no show because I'll be on vacation. So, I'll be back. I swear, I'll be back. I'm probably gonna try to do a video or 2 before I leave. So if you guys have any suggestion that you really want me to do for the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna program that to be released while I'm gone. And that's about it for the news. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate that. I said that, but I like to repeat myself, and I don't thank you guys enough for being supportive. Thank you. Until the next one, please take care of yourself. And I see you guys all later. But please take care of yourself. Later.